Hello and welcome to another evening of stock car racing here on Premier Sports, where tonight the action comes from the Shaleway at Stoke Speedway. Almost 40 cars here from the Brisca F1s to go into action on this often tough Shaleway. Real car breaker this one. Can anyone stop Stuart Smith from winning is the question going into tonight's meeting as we continue our journey around the UK with the Brisca F1s. The heats and consolation coming up in part 1. Part 2 we have the final and Grand National plus the English Open Championship for Brisca Formula 2. Here we go then with heat number 1. Half the entry out for this one, 17 cars on track. Stuart Smith at the front of the Stars and Superstars. Also out there for this one is the European champion, number 4, Dan Johnson. Former world champion Craig Finikin on his local circuit. Danny Wainman out in this one as well. It's Tim Warwick in pole position at the front of the white grade, number 307, with 348 John Wright alongside him. They will lead the field away. Whites, yellows, blues, reds and Superstars. The grades run in Brisca F1 if you've not seen the sport before. We're underway over 16 laps then for heats at number 1. The lower scorers starting off the front, the higher scorers from the back, and already a car being taken out there on the first turn. That was Mark Woodhull in number 335. So we lose the blue grader there into a marker tyre. A couple more cars going wide there on turn 3. That was Rob Cowley in number 73. Mick Rogers in the fence as well in 244. One or two more getting caught up as well down the home straight there. Bill Fenwick in 57 hits the home straight wall. So your early leader is John Wright in car number 348. Stuart Smith already on a charge. He's done the fastest lap of the race on lap 1. You can see him there with the double fin wing design, passing 152 Neil Scullen and 463 James Morris in one move. 348 John Wright using a wide line there around the outside of Tim Warwick leads the way. Third place it is one of the yellow tops there. I think that might be Rob Cowley in 73. Spin there, that's Warwick, and Cowley runs into him there head on. So the man from Bedford has gone in number 307. Stuart Smith already up into third place, chased by Paul Harrison in car number 2, the former world champion. Back in 2011 he won his world title. Craig Finikin and Dan Johnson next in the order. Here come the leaders down into turn 3. It's still John Wright up front. Stuart Smith and Paul Harrison rapidly bearing down on him. How long is the white grader going to survive in front? The ex-Brisca F2 racer. Finikin is 4th, then Rob Cowley is still going in 5th. But here comes John Wright into turn 3. He's gone wide. Stuart Smith will go for the inside, and he's surely going to take the lead away. Indeed he does. Paul Harrison on his tail. So is Stuart Smith set for yet another win here? He just cannot stop winning in 2017. Saw him dominate the recent Birmingham meeting. Had to play second fiddle at Hensford to Michael Scriven, Mr. Hensford, car number 12. Paul Harrison attacking, trying to keep tabs on Stuart Smith's progress here as they go down into turn 1. John Wright starting to drop back. He has been caught by Dan Johnson for 4th place. He goes through at turn 1. Behind them there's Danny Wainman and Will Hunter as well in number 220 in there as well. So the red tops and Superstars rising towards the front of the field in this one. There's Wainman. Mick Rogers behind him in 244. Car we lost into the wall earlier on. In fact, the blue grader was 249. That's Joff Gibson. Dan Johnson with the red and yellow checkered roof of the European champion. We've not seen too much of Dan this year. Good to see him out here at Stoke. Union flag is out from the start marshal. That means halfway. 8 laps completed and 8 to go. Stoke Shale much more smooth than it used to be. Plenty of work has been done on this track in recent months. We've lost Mark Woodhull there at turn 3 in 335. Well, Tim Warwick rejoining after a spin as well. Stuart Smith continues to lead. Red tops rising through very rapidly from the back in this one. The more points you've scored in previous meetings, the higher your grade, and the further back you start on the track, your grade signified by your roof colour. There's one of the white graders being lapped. That's Tim Warwick in 307. There's Bradley Harrison, number 25, the son of Paul, also out in this race. Currently chasing Stuart Smith for the lead. The lap boards are out from the starter. 5 to run for Stuart Smith. 55 Craig Finikin up into second place ahead of Paul Harrison now. Then it's Dan Johnson, leader coming up to lap the 220 and 249 cars. Craig Finikin has done the fastest lap of the race. Right to chase down our leader, Stuart Smith. Now he's getting closer to him as they went into turn 1 there. Paul Harrison still there in third. Into the closing stages now, another fastest lap for Finnegan in the 55. Can he catch Stuart Smith? 3 laps to run. This is going to be close. Will Hunter just ahead of them in 2:20, the former Novice of the Year winner. There's Dan Johnson now up into third. Looks like he may have lost Paul Harrison, unfortunately. Will Hunter's not the fastest lap of the race. That's a surprise. He's almost a lap behind. 2 to run. Stuart Smith in 3.90. I don't think Craig Finnegan is quite going to catch him here. No, Finnegan's been delayed in traffic somewhere. Yeah, I think he's slowing up there. Finnegan may have a problem. He's just lost second place to Dan Johnson. Smith in back marker traffic. He's just done the fastest lap of the race on the penultimate lap. Into the last lap we go then, with Smith all set for yet another race victory. Well clear of Johnson now in second. Finnegan's dropped back, and it's going to be another win for the dominant 3.90 Stuart Smith. He just cannot stop winning in 2017. He takes another win here at Stoke. Dan Johnson will come through for second place. It looks like Finnegan kept going for third. We'll confirm the rest of the results in a few moments' time. It's yet another victory for Stuart Smith. Total dominance from him this year in 2017 on tarmac and shale. It's the man from Lancashire who takes the win by over 3 seconds ahead of Dan Johnson, with Finnegan, Danny Wayman and Mick Rogers. A good run from him to complete the top 5. 15 of the 17 starters went the distance, and it was of course the race winner who got the fastest lap.
3.90 Stuart Smith. If winning races is a drug, it's a habit you're not giving up soon.
Yeah, it's easier going from red, it's got to be said, you know. It's and beginning of that I was trying to let people pass me so I could line up towards the back of the reds, but everybody followed me when I went round to line up. So you just got to take race wins, you know, when they come, and even when they're thick and fast, you've just got to take them, because I'm sure there'll be some low points to come for us. There always is in every season, but at the minute we're flying high, we're doing well. We just need to get this car a little bit better for the final, which I think we will. We know what the problem is, and then try and take the final as well.
Yeah, you're saying you've got to make points early on, because obviously Superstar will be coming in this performance.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of Superstar. I can still win finals from there and championships from Superstar. I've done it before. Think I'm fast enough and driving well enough. It's just about clocking some points in. I missed some points meetings at the end of last season for the qualifying rounds, and you know, that's pretty high. So I'm my grid position for a semi, so I've really got to bang in the points now.
Good luck for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Heat number 2, the other half of the entry out on track. 18 cars out there this time. We've got the current world champion Frankie Wainman Jr. Also out there Nigel Green and Tom Harris. They should be among the main contenders for this one. 16 laps the distance. Ben Herdman we ride on board with, and we're going to see just how long it takes for the shale to fly. See how filthy Ben Herdman gets during this race. You can see the track has been watered ahead of this heat number 2. One car running wide there among the red tops. Spin there for 268 of Richard Woods. He's left facing the wrong way as a couple of cars slide out wide on turns 3 and 4. Looks like Michael Scriven spinning out there, and there you can see how much wet shale has already soaked Ben Herdman there. That's how quickly it can happen in Brisca F1. There's Nigel Harry, number 45, the yellow grader. As the race starts to settle in, Russell Cooper setting an early pace in 4.15. He's the early leader as Elliott Smith in 2.93 gets spun out by Billy Johnson in 1.69. We look back from Mark Gilbank, the red grader, in number 21. He's being chased by Nigel Harry. 2.59 in behind him, that's Paul Hines, and then Nigel Green and Tom Harris. They'll be among the contenders in this one, along with the world champion Junior Wainman in the gold-roofed number 1 car. He, of course, started at the back. Slightly slower pace in this one due to the track watering to keep the dust down. There's Ben Herdman, our onboard cameraman, in 2.07, but it's Russell Cooper who leads the way. Ben Riley just behind him in number 4.22. Nigel Green with the fastest lap of the race in 4.45, being chased by Tom Harris's new car, number 84. There's Hines in 2.59. Hasn't had a lot of luck in recent times in Brisca F1. He's likely to go down as the last ever winner of a race at Brandon Stadium at the end of last year in Coventry. Caught a glimpse there of the world champion Junior Wayman. But it's Russell Cooper who's got the lead. The yellow grader ahead of Bobby Griffin. Blue grader in 166 and walloping goes the race leader. Griffin getting the bumper in there at turn 1. Straight in goes Russell Cooper. That's dispatched our early leader. It's now Bobby Griffin up front in car 166. 422 behind him. That's Ben Riley. Then we've got Mark Gilbank in number 21. So it's all change up front in this one. Behind the leaders, that's Darren Clark, number 83, the former Rebel star. Then Ben Herdman in 207. Another tangle there. Nigel Green gets delayed. That was Billy Johnson in 169 putting the bumper in. That's taken out Nigel Harry as well. He rejoins in the 45 car. So it's still Bobby Griffin, former National Mini Stocks Gold Top winner, who leads the way in car number 166 ahead of Mark Gilbank, Tom Harris in third. So Ben Riley must be a lap down. Billy Johnson in fourth place. Yes, Ben Riley a lap down. Through goes Gilbank. Matt Newson in number 16 has pulled up just by the pit gate there. He's out of the race. Griffin coming up to lap the man he potted earlier on. 415 Russell Cooper took him out of the lead of the race on turn 1. See the amount of shale flying from the state of our camera lens. Half distance flag has just been withdrawn, so we're into lap 10 now. So there goes 166, Bobby Griffin ahead of Gilbank. Cooper and Riley both a lap down, so the first two are well clear. Lapping the slower markers. 443 Richard Dickerson goes a lap down there, the white grader. Gilbank way ahead of the third place man. Pick up who that is in a second. Looks like it's 84 Tom Harris now as another car gets taken out there. Ben Herdman in 207. That may well have been Junior Wayman putting the boot in. So lively stuff here on this freshly watered track here at Stoke in this heat number 2 for the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars. Bobby Griffin and Mark Gilbank dominating proceedings up front. Lap boards are about to come out for them. Here they come. Gilbank closing in on our race leader. And into turn 1 they go. And way ahead of the rest. Back to third place in just a moment. There's a battle further back down the order. Elliott Smith getting some bumper from Michael Scriven, who had a spin at the beginning of the race at Gloucestershire. He just coming up to lap Russell Cooper for a second time in 415. Down the back straight they go. There's Richard Dickerson in 443. Wayman with the fastest lap of the race. He's in fourth place behind Tom Harris, I think now. Nigel Green behind them. He got briefly delayed by a couple of spinners earlier on. Right on board with Tom Harris, looking back at Junior Wayman, the current world champion with the gold roof and number 1. So slowing now, I think we've got caution out. There's the reason. Darren Clark stranded in the middle of the back straight. He's got quite a bit of damage. Nigel Harry's aerofoil is hanging off as well. And the reds are coming out, in fact. So it looks like we may have had a rollover there on the back straight. We'll try and pick up what's happened there. Darren Clark in number 83, stranded in the middle of the track, just going into turn 3. Let's hope he's okay. Nigel Harry with his aerofoil hanging off the side of the car as well. He's getting out. He's all right. At the state of that 45 car, the aerofoil hanging like a sail. Nigel Harry straight over to check that Darren Clark's okay. Yes, he gets out of the car. That's good to see. Try and see what's happened here. They just tangled together going down the back straight, and yes, over goes the 83 car, a full rollover back onto its wheels, but the race being halted by the officials straight away in the interests of safety. So ready for the restart then, a couple of laps, sprint for the line. It's Bobby Griffin up front, the blue grader in 166, ahead of Mark Gilbank, then Tom Harris in third, Junior Wayman is in fourth. The back marker there as well, Russell Cooper in 415. Can Bobby Griffin hold off the threat of Mark Gilbank? This has closed the field up this caution period. Nigel Green there in fifth place, so here they go for a 2-lap sprint for the line. Into turn 1 they go. Griffin moves out wide to avoid any potential attack from Gilbank. Wayman getting through into third. Harris has dropped back to fifth place because Nigel Green has come through as well. There is Wayman in third place. That's let the front 2 escape here. We're into the last lap. Here's Mark Gilbank lining up for an attack on the last bend on the back of Bobby Griffin, who runs a bit wide again. Gilbank needs to position himself for the inside here as Michael Scriven spins further back, but here they come into the final turn. Gilbank's going to try the inside, it is not going to work, and Bobby Griffin stays ahead to take the win ahead of Mark Gilbank, Junior Weymouth third, Nigel Green fourth, Tom Harris fifth. We'll confirm the rest of the results in just a moment for you. But good, well-judged restart there by young Bobby Griffin in 1:66. The blue grader hanging on that 2-lap restart, holding off some very high caliber drivers behind him. Griffin the winner by 0.6 of a second ahead of Mark Gilbank, with Wayman heading home green and Harris. Elliott Smith next in the order ahead of Paul Hines. It was the world champion Wayman who got the fastest lap.
1:66 Bobby Griffin, winner of Heat 2 here at Stoke. That looked like a good race.
Oh, brilliant, yeah. I just seemed to get that drive and get out of the way, and when that yellow flag come, I was a bit gutted, but it happens and I managed to hold on to it. Well placed, well placed.
Yeah, you held your nerve. When you sat there and you look in the mirror and you can see Junior Wayman, Tom Harris and others sat there, that's got to be a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you see all the lights in your mirrors and you just got to hold on and hope for the best, and I managed it, so brilliant.
Very good, thank you, best of luck.
Thank you, cheers.
45, Nigel Harry. Normally we interview race winners, but you've just had a fairly spectacular moment in that race.
Yeah, all crashes, yeah, it was a bit, because I've come up behind that white top next to me, and he's left me room, and I've got me inside of him, but as I got me inside of him, he's just clipped my back end, he just spun me around, and he's gone up and over me, so, yeah, disaster for both of us, so, meeting over for me.
You do have a lot of luck, it is all bad at the moment, but you're still smiling, you're still enjoying racing.
I've done a lot of work this week. I put that's my tarmac engine into the shale car, so I've done a lot of work this week to get it, because that's a better car on shale, and I've crashed it first race, so a bit of a disaster.
Number 83, Darren Clark. We've just had a word with Nigel about that incident. What was your view?
Not much really, I just close my eyes and think of England, to be perfectly honest.
Is that the first rollover you've had?
In a Formula 1, yeah. Yeah, I've raced other things and rolled over, but it's the same. You can see sky and then clouds and then track, and you don't know where you are, but the main thing is we're intact, it's alright, and you live to fight another day.
Consolation time then here at Stoke. These are the drivers who didn't make it through to the final at the first attempt. We have 15 cars on track for this one, including Matt Newson and Paul Harrison, who dropped out of their heats. Bradley Harrison also out in this race, so we get underway then. 16 laps will be the distance. Away they go into the low sun here at Stoke. That could cause one or two visibility problems going into turn one. Your early pace setter is Richard Dickerson in number 443, and Bradley Harrison gets spun out there by Matt Newson. Richard Woods in 268 has gone as well at turn 4, so a couple of early casualties there. Will Hunter making his way through the middle in 220. Saw him a lap down in his heat earlier on in heat number 1 to Stuart Smith. The race starts to settle in. There's Matt Newson, number 16, a very distinctive new car for Matt this year. Could be a change to the lead here. Bill Fenwick attacking Richard Dickerson. He goes through, coming out of turn 4. Fenwick leads it. Dickerson hits the fence, coming down the home straight. At the inside, Russell Cooper. He's going to get shoveled by Rob Cowley, and Cowley gets spun out in turn by Luke Dennis. Oh, they're all going off at turn 1. Rob Cowley in his retro liveried car in what he says will be his last season of his long career racing Brisca F1. So a bit of chaos there at turn 1. Bill Fenwick was leading the way. We'll pick up the leaders in just a moment. Russell Cooper's up there at the front as well in 415. He got walloped straight in heat 1 in heat 2 rather by Bobby Griffin while leading the way. There's Luke Dennis. He's not going again in 192. So it's Bill Fenwick ahead of Russell Cooper. It looks like Will Hunter has come through into third as a result of that schmozzle there at turn 1. There's Matt Newson, number 16, in the car originally built for Billy Tom O'Connor. It's Matt racing it instead. It was him who built the car. See it there with the very distinctive high cockpit sides and bonnet. It's got a very large engine under the bonnet of that number 16. Matt's still learning the car. Somebody going crashing into a marker tyre there at turn 4. I think that's Richard Woods in 268, who's been all over the place all evening in this one. So it's Fenwick, Cooper and Hunter setting the pace. Bill Fenwick's timing transponder isn't working, so he's not appearing on the lap times there. Matt Newson chasing down Mark Woodhull in 335. We saw him spin out of his heat. Somebody's pulled up there by the pit gate. I think that's treble 5. Frankie Wademan Jr. Frankie JJ is out of this one. Luke Dennis attacking Billy Johnson in 169. So Russell Cooper, I think, is about to take the lead here. Fastest lap of the race to Matt Newson on lap 6 as Russell Cooper takes the lead, but for how much longer, because he's got Will Hunter up behind him, Paul Harrison in there as well in car 2. Then we've got Fenwick, Newson, Woodhull and the rest of them. Tim Warwick cutting the corner slightly there on turn 4. As Hunter tries to make a move for the lead, half distance flag is out and Hunter into the lead as Russell Cooper clips the home straight wall. So it's number 220, Will Hunter. We've seen his brother Henry racing with him in the past as well, the former Novice of the Year winners, both of them. Leaning on each other there down the back straight, that's Fenwick and Mark Woodhull. Russell Cooper loses out to Matt Newson. Paul Harrison is chasing our race leader. Newson up to 3rd place now in number 16. And hires Brisca F1 cars out to various drivers. A number of newcomers have had a go in the sport thanks to Matt. Harrison with the new fastest lap of the race, and he's going for the lead here into turn 1. Yes, he's got him. He gets past Will Hunter, got the bumper in there going into turn 1, and Paul Harrison, the man who won the world final at Northampton in 2011, takes up the lead. Are we going to see a Harrison when we saw Bradley Harrison spin early on in this race, ending his chances? Newson still there in 3rd, the black and pink machine. Distinctive new design. Paul Harrison going a little bit wide, just like we saw Bobby Griffin doing in Heat 2. Into the closing stages now, we've got 4 laps left to run, including the one they're on. Will Hunter's not finished yet, he's trying to fight back in 220. Down the back straight into turn 3, is he going to get close enough? Not quite close enough to crack the bumper in this time. Still in 3rd place Matt Newson, but he's got problems. A lot of smoke or steam there from the 16 car. Not slowing him down, he's still going in 3rd place ahead of Mark Woodhull. Then we've got Luke Dennis in 192 and behind him Billy Johnson. Matt Newson is going to struggle home here. He wants to get into the final, of course. 2 laps left to run. Out of turn 2 comes the leader as Matt Newson continues on doing his impression of a steam locomotive. See the high sides and bonnet on that car. First 2 have been able to get clear as they go into the last lap. Paul Harrison has lapped Richard Dickerson, who has a go at him there into turn 1. Get off, says Paul Harrison, I want to win this race. Well, Richard Dickerson getting in the way of Will Hunter there as well. But Hunter's going to continue to finish 2nd, I think. It's going to be a win for Paul Harrison in car number 2. He takes the checkered flag. Hunter survives for 2nd. I'm not sure what Richard Dickerson was doing there on the last lap. Matt Newson comes over in 3rd despite those late engine problems. We'll confirm the rest of the results in just a moment. Paul Harrison, the former world, British and European champion. His father, Willie Harrison, was world champion in 1982 as well. Takes the win by 3 seconds ahead of Will Hunter. Newson 3rd, then Mark Woodhull, Luke Dennis, Billy Johnson and Bradley Harrison. 11 cars went the distance in that one. It was Paul Harrison who also got the fastest lap.
Number 2, Paul Harrison, winner of the consolation. It may be a consolation, but that wasn't an easy race.
Young Hunter, Will, was very fast, and I tried to trail him, and I was keeping up with him and such. And as the track slicked off quite a lot towards the end, I think he just got out of the way, let me past, and so I could see Matt coming at that stage, and Will, I wasn't shaking him off, and so I had to keep my eye in.
Yeah, Matt, obviously it looked like he had a radiator go or a hose go, and he lost all his water by the looks of it, but it was a hard fight and it was a good race. Now you've got to do it all again in the final.
Yeah, well, that's right, yeah, the final's a different story, isn't it? We've got everybody out on track on that one, so it should be interesting. Hopefully we'll try and steer through it without any damage and come out the other side with a decent finish.
Best of luck.
Nice one, thank you.
So some great action we've seen here at the Stoke Shaleway so far. Plenty more coming up after this short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Stoke Shaleway here on Premier Sports. We'll see a little more from the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars with their final and Grand National coming up later in the programme. But before that, it's the English Open Championship for the Brisca Formula 2 stock cars. The grid for this one determined by the results of the heats. There are 30 cars out there for this one. Heats won by Andrew Palmer and Dave Massey, with Josh Coleman winning the consolation. It's Paul Prest on pole position with local man Lee Dimmick in 59 alongside him. This is a 20-lap race, and away go this big field of Brisca Formula 2s looking for their English Open Championship. The winner will wear the St George's Cross on the roof, and already one of the favourites being taken wide there. That's Dave Massey, number 977, an earlier heat winner. It's Lee Dimmick who's got the lead ahead of Paul Prest. John Riley in 108 attacking, also Ant Riley in number 282. The car's sliding and spinning everywhere. Jake Walker went around in there in 298. Paul Prest attacking for the lead, held by Lee Dimmick as they go into the second of these 20 laps. The car slowing there, that's Ant Riley, number 282, the ex-Bangor racer. We've got a couple of cars tangled up there. That's Mark Gibbs and Kelvin Marshall. More cars going off. Number 12, Dan Ford. Andrew Palmer, the winner of Heat 1. James Riger, the former world champion, is facing the wrong way. Oh, chaos there on turn 4. Billy Webster involved in 226. So a number of the favourites involved in trouble already in this what will be a long and pretty arduous race for the English Open. 735 facing the wrong way there. That's Mick Howarth. And Kelvin Marshall gets spun around by Mark Gibbs. Perhaps a revenge shot there from Gibbo in 5.78. Kelvin Marshall, another former world champion, won that in 2015 at Hensford. There go the leaders. Lee Dimmick and Josh Coleman have now dropped behind Paul Prest in number 49. He's got a slightly clear lead at the moment. It's Prest with the lead ahead of his fellow Blue Top, second and third. Look how clear Prest has gone early on in this one. There's the battle for second place. On the inside comes Josh Coleman in 6.15, side by side with the 59 of Lee Dimmick. 26 Gary Ford attacking Ollie Skeels in 1.24, but it's Paul Prest leading by almost the length of a straight in the early stages here. Will be John Riley up there in second. Yes, in fact he's second, apologies there, so it's Riley second. Josh Coleman now in third in number 6.15. There's the British and European champion with the checkered roof. That's Chris Burgoyne, the lone Scotsman in this race, number 6.47. Paul Prest started on pole. He's away and clear ahead of Riley, Coleman and the rest of them. Lee Dimmick still there in fourth place. A Rebels racer, had a go at Brisca F1 as well. A couple of cars stranded there on turn 4, including Dave Massey, earlier heat winner in 977. There's Dave Polly, the former national points champion, number 38. Car bouncing off the fence on turns 1 and 2. I think that was Mark Gibbs again in 5.78. So the race has settled down now. There's number 55, the yellow top there, Courtney Finnegan, one of the few ladies of Brisca F2, chased by Chris Mitchell in 2.19. Dave Polly battling with Billy Webster and Daz Shaw in number 3.77. They get their bumpers in at turn 1. Shaw up the inside. Behind them, Tony Blackburn in 2.25. Car riding up the fence, that was Polly. It's a great fight going on between these Reds and Superstars. Webster side by side with Shaw, then Polly, Blackburn, and the rest of them. Still up front is Paul Prest in number 49. John Riley, Josh Coleman, and Lee Dimmick giving chase. Race has quietened down now from those frantic early stages. There's John Riley under fire from Josh Coleman, number 6.15, has already won a final on the Shale this year to move up to blue grade, as Tony Blackburn gets a hit there from Dave Polly, number 38. Daz Shaw on the outside. Jake Walker in 2.98, Exo RCI Mini Stocks racer is in there as well. Race action for the minor placings. Paul Prest is dominating this race up front in the number 49 car, starting from pole position. There's Courtney Finnegan in 55. For our leader in a few moments' time. All the action is in the pack behind him, and a bit of a tangle there on the back straight. Daz Shaw has gone. He's stuck on the back straight there. I think it was Dave Polly he tangled with, everybody sliding to the inside to miss him. We may see a yellow flag. Yes, indeed we do. The yellows are out. And the 630 car of Justin Parker there going straight across the front of Gary Ford and our race leader Paul Prest, who's going to lose his large lead that he'd built up here. His car's littering the raceway. There's the reason for the yellow flag. Daz Shaw, number 377, stuck in the middle of the back straight. We get ready for the restart. Then it's Paul Prest. He's got a couple of back markers, Justin Parker and Mike Wallbank in behind him. Josh Coleman is in second place. It's John Riley third, and then we've got Chris Burgoyne with the checkered roof, the European and British champion. Next in the order, ahead of Lee Dimmick, Billy Webster and Courtney Finnegan. So here we go with the restart then, away down towards turn 1. Paul Prest has held his lead. He's got the cushion of the two back markers. He pulls away once again. I reckon Burgoyne could be a threat here though once he gets through from 4th place. Josh Coleman wasting no time attacking the back markers. Justin Parker in 630 goes out wide. Away goes Paul Prest once again in the 49 car. Josh Coleman in 2nd place. Burgoyne is indeed up to 3rd. He's got ahead of John Riley. Billy Webster in 226. His dad Mark used to race Brisca F1, is in behind them. Are we going to see a Scottish winner of the English Open? There's one car going heavily into the wall up there on turn 3. I didn't see who that was. Chris Burgoyne, and he's lost it there. Burgoyne has gone. He spins around on turn 1. This car's going everywhere to miss him. Jake Walker goes around. Rob Mitchell hit the wall as well in 9.05, so we've lost a very potent threat there. We lose Chris Burgoyne from the lead equation. So the 2 blue graders, it's just between those 2 now, I think. Fight for 3rd going on behind Webster and John Riley, but it's just between Paul Prest and Josh Coleman now. Here they come down the home straight, 4 laps to go, lapping one of the blue graders there with some damage to the right front. Lee Dimmick further back, he led off the line, battling with Rob Mitchell now in 9.05. They're further down the top 10. It's 49 against 615 for the right to wear the St George's Cross for the next 12 months. Going to the inside is Josh Coleman. He's on the attack here as they come out of turn 2. Tries to get down the inside. No, he can't do so. Paul Prest closes the door. Coleman again to the inside. He looks rapid here. We've seen him on the shale already here on Premier Sports this year. He's at the inside into turn 1. He's got him. Into the lead goes Josh Coleman in 6.15. Now can Paul Prest fight back? He led from the 2nd lap onwards. Now he's lost the lead to Josh Coleman. Further back it's Billy Webster in 3rd, now pulling away from John Riley, but into the last lap we go. Is Paul Prest going to be able to close back up and attack on the last bend? He will try everything, I'm sure, to try and dislodge Josh Coleman from the lead he held for so long. Here comes Paul Prest. He's going to try and attack into the last bend. He's missed him. He misses the back of the 6.15, and Josh Coleman comes home to win the English Open. He is elated as he crosses the line. That's the biggest win of Josh Coleman's Brisca F2 career so far. Billy Webster completes the podium in 2.26, but Josh Coleman is absolutely overjoyed, bouncing around in the cockpit there. Absolutely superb from Josh Coleman. By far the biggest success of his stock car racing career so far. He will paint the St George's Cross on his roof. Coleman the winner ahead of long-time leader Paul Prest, with Billy Webster taking 3rd. John Riley 4th ahead of Dave Polly, who fought off Chris Mitchell. Chris Burgoyne recovering him from his spin to take 8th place. 15 cars going the distance.
6.15, Josh Coleman, winner of the Formula 2 English Open. You'll be happy with that?
Yeah, definitely happy with that. Never expected this year I'd win a championship or ever at all, but certainly topped the semi-final win, that's for sure.
And you've had some good form on shale this year. That's your first ever major title.
Yeah, it's the first ever major title I've ever had. It's another final win for the bag as well. That's 2 on a trot at Stoke this year now, so hopefully we'll carry on the momentum for the rest of the year.
And if we're right, that gets you into the National Series at the end of the season.
Yeah, we've just been talking about that then with my dad. It's tarmac and shell, but I only race shell, so I'll have to try and get a tarmac car from somewhere and try and entertain a few people on the track.
Well done and best of luck.
Thank you. Can I just say thanks to my dad, also MW Fabrications, who helped me out a lot, and also my granddad as well, who's poorly at the minute, but I did that one for him. Thank you.
Final time for the Brisca Formula 1 then. 26 cars out there on track for 20 laps of race action. Stuart Smith going for yet another final win, but the likes of the Waynemans, Tom Harris, Dan Johnson, Paul Harrison, Mark Gilbank, Matt Newson and so on will be out to try to stop him here. Bradley Harrison at the front of the red tops along with Mark Gilbank. It's Richard Woods in 2.68 and 3.48 of John Wright who will lead the field away. John was going well in Heat 1. The track is freshly watered and here we go over 20 laps. The green flag is waved. John Wright sets off into the lead in 3.48 ahead of Richard Woods in second. It's 1.92 of Luke Dennis in third place. We've got yellow graders everywhere on the first turn. Elliot Smith has spun there in 2.93. Russell Cooper as well, and he gets hit head on by Paul Hines. Will Hunter in there as well in 2.20. So plenty of first turn chaos though. Lost Neil Scothern as well in number 152. Elliot Smith, he's gone again into the wall at turn 3. He gets walloped in backwards by the by the 355 car, 335 even of Mark Woodhull. And Billy Johnson crashed in there as well. That could be the end of Elliot Smith's race early on. So we're already Stuart Smith making some progress up the order. He's already made up at least half the field. Your early leader, though, looks like is Luke Dennis in number 192. We're looking back at Tom Harris in number 84. It's past Mark Woodhull. Wainman in behind them as well. Junior Wainman, that is, in number 1. Only 2 of the Wainmans out in this one. Frankie JJ not making it through as Stuart Smith spins James Morris in 4.63 aside. It's around the outside. That didn't delay him too much. He's now getting to grips with Mark Gilbank in the 21. Around the outside of him there. We don't very often see outside passes here at Stoke. Shows how quick Stuart Smith is going. Luke Dennis is your early leader in number 192. John Wright up there as well at the front in 3.48, the white grader. Richard Woods gets walloped into the fence there on turn 1. Mark Gilbank, we look back under fire from local man Craig Finnegan from Leek in Staffordshire, the 2014 world champion, won that at Coventry. Now chasing after Stuart Smith in 3.90, who's starting to reel in the pace setters. Russell Cooper pulling off in 4.15. Luke Dennis, who's got the early lead, then ahead of Mick Rogers, Richard Woods, and now Stuart Smith closing up on them. He's in among the leading pack now, and here's a battle between Dan Johnson and Junior Wainman and Nigel Green. These three have had something of a rivalry between them over the last couple of years. Right in there in 3.48, under threat from a few white graders. Stuart Smith in behind them. Into the wall there goes one of the red tops, couldn't quite see who that was. It's John Wright, showers our camera in mud. Yeah, he's gone, he's tangled with Mick Rogers, and Stuart Smith and the others get through the middle there. It's Dennis who leads, Elliott Smith a lap down, so Stuart Smith now in second place after the demise of Rogers and Wright there going into turn 3. They tangled up and Wright went into the wall. There's his car facing the pits there on the 4th bend. So Luke Dennis still leads, but how long before he's going to be caught by Stuart Smith, world champion 10 years ago in 2007 at Kings Lynn. Tom Harris is now in 3rd place in car 84. He's not far behind these two as here comes Smith, trying to get the bumper in on the 192 machine. They come down towards turn 1. He's going to pick him up with the bumper and wallop straight in goes the race leader, Luke Dennis. To be fair to him, he's straight back on the throttle and holds 2nd place, but Stuart Smith, a brutal move there to go through into the lead, asserting his dominance once again. Next in the order, there is Tom Harris. Mark Gilbank ahead of him. Maybe Gilbank's still up there in 3rd. I'm not sure if Mark Gilbank's transponder is working here. Then Harris, Finnegan, Junior Wainman and the rest of them. Junior Wainman's just done the fastest lap of the race, 17.271. The track continues to dry out from the earlier watering just to keep the dust down. There's Gilbank, Harris, Finnegan, Junior Wainman, Paul Harrison next in the order. Paul Harrison bouncing off the fence there down the back straights, very easy to do there. This track much smoother than it used to be, as we said earlier, as Richard Woods goes into the wall in 2.68. This track used to be known to some drivers as the Big Dipper. Was so bumpy, but Star Track's Oval Motorsports have really made plenty of improvements here over the last few months. Stuart Smith continues to lead, lapping Ben Herdman in 2.07. It's Gilbank and the 84 of Tom Harris battling for 2nd place, and well, Richard Woods straight across the front of the race leader there, just avoided him, Stuart Smith. So Gilbank is still up there in the top 3, under fire here from Tom Harris. In goes the bumper. And Tom Harris trying to go through for 2nd place. Gilbank's timing transponder isn't working, so he's not showing in the lap charts. We lost Elliott Smith there in 2.93. There is Harris in 2nd place in 84, the 2013 world champion. On board with Mark Gilbank, in goes the bumper from Junior Wainman, and Gilbank comes to a stop. I think he's collected somebody there. Yes, Paul Harrison had tangled with Luke Dennis, and Gilbank has been stuffed into them there by Wainman. Wainman now through into 3rd place behind Tom Harris. Paul Harrison still stuck there as Stuart Smith comes up to lap James Morris, and Paul Harrison gets collected by Billy Johnson in 1.69. Paul Harrison left facing the wrong way. Now, are we going to see a stoppage here with the way that car is stuck facing the oncoming traffic? Yes, the yellow flags come out. Now, this could hinder Stuart Smith slightly, depending on how many back markers he's got between himself and Tom Harris here. Could Tom attack for the lead, look for his first final win of the season? We'll just check Paul Harrison is okay. He is, and we're ready for a restart, and there's no back markers there, so Harris and Junior Wayman directly behind Stuart Smith here. Behind them, Craig Finnegan. What a lineup we've got for the last couple of laps of this final. Dan Johnson in behind them. He's smoking though in car number 4. And then Nigel Green. Terrific top 6 of the quickest drivers in the sport. We're back underway. Stuart Smith has got the restart right. Tom Harris is under fire from Wayman. That's why. And Harris goes out wide. Wayman on the inside. He elbows Tom Harris into the wall. Coming off the turn there, says cheerio, I'm off into second place. Chase after Stuart Smith. Craig Finnegan's going to come through as well. Harris, well, was the unlucky loser on that restart. 2 laps to go now, and it's between Smith and Wayman at the front. We've seen that thousands of times in the sport's history. Smith versus Wayman. With Stuart Smith keeping the pace ahead of Junior Wayman. Craig Finnegan with a great restart. They're up into third place in the 55. We've got the 84 and the number 4 of Dan Johnson. That smoke seems to have cleared. Is Wayman going to get close enough then for a lunge on the last bend? No, he's not. And Stuart Smith has done it again. Another final win goes in the book. They just can't beat him this season. Wayman second, Finnegan gets third. Then we have got Harris and Johnson, I think, completing the top 5. We'll check that in a moment. But Stuart Smith, another final win in the book. Glasgow Celtic of stock car racing, virtually unbeaten this year. Stuart Smith leading home Junior Wayman, with Finnegan in third place. He got the quickest lap as well. Tom Harris and Dan Johnson completing the top 5. Finnegan the fastest lap by just a few hundredths of a second over Junior Wayman.
390, Stuart Smith, winner of the final. We're here again.
Yeah, it's great. It's just, like I said before, you have a couple of seasons of bad luck, and then everything seems to go all right again. So yeah, we're taking it as it comes, definitely.
You worked harder in that one though. You were away and gone, and then the yellows come out, and you had Tom and Frank behind you. But you got the break again.
Yeah, before the yellows, sort of could see there were no real threat in my mirror, so I kind of backed off, and I were counting down the laps, and I could see Paul in a bit of an horrible place. I don't know if it was him who pulled the yellows out, but I was kind of expecting him. When I saw the back marker pull out, I knew I had to get my ass in gear. But at the same time, you've got to be calculated and not make a mistake, and it's terrific pressure you're under. So I was just biding my time then after the yellow flag, and just get it to the checkered.
And had you set the car up for the dry at the end of the race? Because it looked like you were struggling early on, but then it come good when it dried out.
Yeah, we just tried something for the final, and it worked. It did what we thought it would, but just too severe. So we're coming back with it now, and to a happy medium, hopefully, for this race.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Last race of the night then, the Grand National, 23 cars on track. Stuart Smith, having won the final, goes from the 1-lap handicap. He'll start from the front of the grid, effectively, and have to make up that handicap. All the star names we've seen out so far tonight are out there. This will be a 16-lap race. Can Stuart Smith win from the lap handicap? It hasn't been done for a few years in Brisca F1. There's Bobby Griffin, the winner of our second heat tonight. Will Hunter and Paul Hines head the red tops. Frankie JJ in treble 5, Ben Riley in 422 in behind them. There is Stuart Smith off from the front. He's got lone white grader Richard Dickerson, number 443, in behind him, driving one of Matt Newson's hire cars tonight. Matt Newson not on the grid for this Grand National. Saw him having some engine problems earlier on. The yellows right up with Richard Dickerson there. A very slow rolling lap here. Mick Rogers at the front of the yellows along with James Morris in 463. We get underway, and well, Richard Dickerson barely got away there. Already a blue grader spinning out. That's Neil Scother further back. He hasn't made the start line. This car's bouncing around everywhere as they come down the home straight. Are they all going to make it round? Are they all going to make it to the first turn? Mark Woodhull gets fired wide in 335. Cars into the fence there. That's Frankie JJ rather. Craig Finnegan, Michael Scriven and others. Luke Dennis gets put away. Elsewhere, there's more cars piling in. Paul Hines, Billy Johnson's in there. They're going absolutely everywhere. A manic start to this Grand National event. Now, are we going to see the yellow flags come out here? I wonder. Yes, we are, because there's cars stranded all over the place, and the race has been stopped. Michael Scriven facing the wall there on one of the turns. The Grand National brought to a halt after one lap has been completed. Here's our onboard camera car being telehandlered off. That's Luke Dennis, number 192. And so he's going to take up residence on the infield there, and we'll see what his camera captures from a stationary position. Luke Dennis is going to be an extra camera tripod for us on the centre. Thanks, Luke. Okay, so after all that mayhem, we are a few cars down. Dan Johnson's out of this, Billy Johnson, Luke Dennis, of course, Bobby Griffin, Frankie JJ, Craig Finnegan and Michael Scriven. Those are the cars we've lost. It's Mick Rogers, number 244, who has got the lead for this restart, with James Morris behind him. Geoff Gibson is third in 249. And the rest of them, that's allowed Stuart Smith, of course, to close up to the back of the field. That's made up a large proportion of his lap handicap. There he is, number 390, behind Paul Hines, already ahead of Will Hunter and Tom Harris in car 84. It's Mick Rogers, next V8 Hot Stocks Gold Top at the front, ahead of 463 of James Morris. Geoff Gibson in third in number 249. Very steady rolling start here, caught by our temporary corner camera, Luke Dennis. Interesting angle from the inside of the turn. So away we go then. Green flag about to go down. It does go down and we're away. Geoff Gibson already forcing his way up the inside there to try and take the lead before they cross the start line almost, but he's going to be spun out there. Contact with James Morris. We've got more cars piling in there, haven't even reached the line. Bobby Griffin was one of them in 166. So Gibson, I think he jumped the restart there, but it came to nothing because he's been spun out by James Morris. Stuart Smith already making up places further back in the order, trying to charge his way through. He's going to pass Neil Scuthern in 152 and Mark Woodhull in 335, but the caution's out again because we've got stuck on the home straight there, Bobby Griffin and Billy Johnson in 169, who had rejoined for the restart, but is immediately taken out again, and the caution out once more. So a chaotic Grand National here so far. We'll see what happened to the two blue graders. They just went out wide, caught the fence, and Billy Johnson was spun across the front. Bobby Griffin, rather, was spun across the front of Billy Johnson. Further ahead, Geoff Gibson was spun aside by James Morris. Elliott Smith went off in avoidance in 293. And the two cars left stuck together on the inside, which meant that Geoff Gibson's very enthusiastic restart came to naught there. Mick Rogers, it looks like we're going to lose as well. Yes, he's been pushed off by Mark Gilbank. So Mark Gilbank assumes the lead. Nigel Green in second place and Junior Wainman third. So the lower graders are pretty much self-destructed. There's Stuart Smith. He's already up into about 7th place from the lap handicap, and we're only on lap 3. Now, it's been about 6 or 7 years from my memory since we've had a driver win the final and the Grand National from the lap handicap. Very rarely seen that, especially with all the cars being so evenly matched nowadays. Could we see it here from Stuart Smith? It's about the only thing he hasn't achieved so far in 2017. But Mark Gilbank, number 21, is your leader. Nigel Green second, and Junior Wainman, the world champion, is third. We get back underway then with this Brisca F1 Grand National, a rather depleted field of cars out there for this one, and Gilbank under fire from Nigel Green, but he made a bit of a mess of that. Stuart Smith didn't make a mess of it. He puts Danny Wainman away in 212. Smith-Wainman rivalry rekindled again. So Stuart Smith up into about 6th place now and having a go at Ben Riley in the 422 car. The leader is Gilbank ahead of Nigel Green. Junior Wainman in 3rd place. And Ben Riley running wide. Smith could go through into as high as 4th here. We've only done less than 5 laps. Yes, Smith is through into 4th. Stuart Smith, there is just no stopping him this season. An incredible year he's having. Nigel Green attacking for the lead. To look on the inside of Mark Gilbank's number 21 there, coming out of turn 2. Smith up into 4th place, he's the one to watch. Tom Harris slapping quickly further back in the order. He got delayed before the yellow flags came out though. Going for the inside is Green, attacking Gilbank. Doesn't quite manage to get through. 21 of Gilbank continues to lead. Nigel Green, the man from Leicester, looking for the inside. Some few car links in between these two. Green closing all the time. They're coming up to lap Richard Dickerson in 443. Is he going to get in the way this time? Gilbank up the inside. Looks like, yes, he's going to get rid of the 443 car out the line, but that's left a gap on the inside. Now, has Green got through into the lead? Indeed he has. Nigel Green has taken the lead. Only took that moment's hesitation as Mark Gilbank moved the back marker out wide, and now through has come Junior Wainman as well. Dickerson bounces off the fence. Wainman's up into second place. Yes, Mark Gilbank hesitated slightly there as he pushed Richard Dickerson out wide, and it left the gap for Nigel Green to come through and take the lead. Wainman second, Gilbank is down to third. We're only just past half distance in this Grand National event. Where is Stuart Smith? There he is, he's attacking Gilbank. He's trying to go for third place. Side by side almost as they come off the turn there. Nigel Green in 4.45 needs to get his foot down here. He'll be able to see that Stuart Smith is coming through. Well, only taking half the race to come from a lap down up into third. That's just how quick Stuart Smith is this year. Absolutely sensational driving. It's helped by the yellow flag to close up to the back of the field, of course. He was about where he would have been, having started on the lead lap. Nigel Green continues to lead. Not sure of his lap times because his transponder isn't working properly, unfortunately. He's going clear on Junior Wainman, staying clear of the world champion in second place. There's Tom Harris in 84. He's lapping quickly, but a little further down the top 10. There's smoke coming from James Morris, I think that was there in 4.63. Still Green ahead of Wainman. Then Smith is closing on Wainman. He's done the fastest lap of the race, of course. The fastest man at pretty much every meeting we've seen so far this year. Still your leader is Nigel Green in 4.45. Came close to the National Points Championship last year, was denied as Rob Speak won the silver to sign off his incredible career. Rob Speak now a promoter, of course, up at Skegness Stadium. So, penultimate lap of the evening here at the Stoke Shaleway. Is Stuart Smith going to close on these two? Can he move up and take the first final and Grand National double in the sport in a very long time? He's closing up on Junior Wainman. They go into the last lap. This is going to be close between these three. Green, Wainman, Smith, line astern into the back straight for the final time. I don't think there's going to be an attack coming. Smith trying, he's not going to do it. It's going to be a win for Nigel Green in 4.45. He takes the checkered flag. Second for Wainman. Smith just behind in third. He almost got there. A remarkable drive from Stuart Smith. He just couldn't quite get there on the last couple of laps. Confirm the rest of the result momentarily. And Nigel Green, the Leicestershire driver, it is who takes the win in the Green Sport 4.45 car. Brilliant stuff there to hold off the world champion Junior Wainman. Green the winner ahead of Wainman. Stuart Smith third from the handicap, then Mark Gilbank the early leader, and Tom Harris and Danny Wainman next home. 13 of the 23 starters went the distance in that one. It was, of course, Stuart Smith who got the fastest lap.
4.45, Nigel Green, winner of the Grand National. That was a hard race.
It was, yeah, it was. It was probably one of the most enjoyable races I've had, actually, definitely on shale. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. The track was good, and I've had issues with the brakes all night. I still had issues in that one then, so I was pumping the brakes as I was on the straight, so I had a pedal at the corner, and once I got my head around that, the car was actually quite well balanced. So yeah, it was a good race. I had no mirror. My mirror broke in the first heat, so I didn't know who was where, so I was just judging it with my ears, really. It got a little bit quieter with about 2 or 3 to go, so I probably guess that was a good sign. I'm not sure what was going on behind, but that was good.
Well, they always say good stock car drivers don't use mirrors anyway. You worry about what's in front, not what's behind. But you had Frank and Stuart who weren't far away.
Right. Like I say, it's news to me. But yeah, the mirrors really used for strategy, I suppose. If you get caught on the outside, you just need to see if you can get in. So no, you don't really. I don't use it or get intimidated. It's just more of a case as if you're in a battle, you know where you can slot back in.
It was very dusty out there. Was visibility a problem?
Not for me, fortunately, because I was at the front. I'm not sure for the other lads, but no, for me it was fine. I had to have the balaclava over my mouth because filling the lungs up with dust, which I don't think is too good for you, but no, it was good for me.
And like Stuart, you're having a good season as well. You won the final last night at Skegness, and you're picking up the results quietly away.
Yeah, we've been a bit up and down on the tarmac car. We've had some issues again with brakes, same as with this car with brakes. So yeah, points-wise, we had a decent start. Unfortunately, got a puncture in the final, no fault of my own. Dan Johnson spun and hit the back wheel, so that popped that with 2 to go. So that was a shame because I was running in the top 5. But I think Stuart's having a dream start to the season, a bit like Frankie had last year. So it'll be interesting to see how he ends up this year. Whether it might be his year, but we'll see.
Thank you very much.
All right, cheers.
So after 9 rounds this year, the grading points are, of course, led by Stuart Smith, who's some 20 points ahead of Nigel Green, with the Wayneman boys and Tom Harris next up. Ben Herdman well up as well. He's set for a move up from yellow grade, sitting there looking strong in 6th. In the world qualifying points, Nigel Green is still on top ahead of Dan Johnson, with some points carried over from the end of last season. Stuart Smith is there ahead of the Waynemans in 3rd place. Lee Fairhurst next in the order. That's about all from Stoke here tonight then. More Shale action coming up next time on Premier Sports from Bellevue, but it's goodbye for now.